We've aimed to bridge the gap between complex regulatory processes and the realities of policing. We've tried to construct a comprehensive view of the changes brought about by this legislation and its significance to the law enforcement community. As we wrap up, I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to provide a final perspective on what they believe to be most important. If you would consider what message you would like to leave with the officers.
Educate yourself on the process. If you learn what rights you have with the advisory board, if you learn what our statutes are and what we are limited to, or what we are able to do in regards to any case that comes in front of us, then you'll have a better understanding.
Certification from California means something, and it should mean something. And these standards are high. They're higher than they are in other states. Our training standards are the highest, and now our decertification standards are the highest.
Understand what post role is, what your agency's role is. Everything that happens hasn't changed from what your agency does. So know your agency's rules. Follow those rules. Do the right job, do the right things for the right reason.
It's about integrity. It's integrity in the profession and integrity in the process. These are individuals. This isn't just a bunch of documents. And so that's an important fact. I think peace officers should walk away with a sense of trust in the fact that we understand we're dealing with individual lives and livelihood.
I think that this is really a paradigm shift in law enforcement, and not so much in investigating misconduct, more so on our relationship with post, our relationship with how we become informed of things that affect us. We are now no longer passengers in this journey. We now must take more of an active role and engage with post. That's the advice that I would give, is to embrace it and understand that we must now play a more active role in our careers and the information that we receive.
I can speak from a personal level. I was in law enforcement, and people are calling you because they need help. And when we find that an officer has committed serious misconduct, I think that denigrates the profession. There's a lot of pride in the profession, and I think that this law is one piece that we can use to have folks that commit serious misconduct not be in it any longer.
As a police officer, your job is always on the investigating side as opposed to being investigated. So when you're a subject of an investigation, it can be very unnerving, but you have to have faith that the process is there for a reason. It's there to ensure that your rights are protected, that their objective is to seek the truth to the matter, and if you're doing everything right, you're going to come out on top. Let everybody else worry about the investigation. Just do your job, follow the rules, and you're going to be okay.
I think one of the roles that Post plays, and I think one of the valuable roles Post plays, is in being a neutral party. And we take that very seriously. We don't make any assumptions about anything. We oftentimes don't know anything about the officers who are involved. We don't have a negative view of them. We don't have a positive view of them. We're taking the case as it is. And we look at the underlying behavior, and we are stridently neutral in our assessment of whether or not the acts constitute serious misconduct. That's the role for us to play. I think that's valuable. I think it helps the communities feel like they have the opportunity to have some voice into the process, that there is somebody neutral now who's looking at the cases and making an independent assessment without a tie to the agency. And we take that role very seriously, and quite honestly, I think it's one of the strengths that gives Post its ability to be trusted in moving these cases forward.
Trust begins when all stakeholders agree that each entity is working in the best interest of all involved, and that agreement comes through understanding the viewpoints of those other stakeholders. At the end of this, how do our officers see their viewpoints aligning with others? How do you think the community will view this now?
I think it shows a little bit more transparency, especially with everything being on the website. It seemed that we're being more transparent by decertifying people and then making that public knowledge.
I think the community will be happy that officers would be held accountable, maybe feel safer knowing that the officers that are out there and that are coming to calls for service, are officers that should be wearing the badge and the gun.
So how do you think law enforcement views decertification?
When it first started, I think that there was a lot of misconceptions about it. And then once the dust kind of settled, I think most people agree with most of it, because I think we all have those examples of officers that have done something wrong and left in lieu of termination and then got hired at another agency. And that's no longer going to be possible.
Has this roundtable, this discussion today, has it been helpful for you?
I would have never even probably researched this. Now I have a little bit more of understanding what it actually is.
When it first came out, I was really not really sure what was going on. As we talk about things, especially in this forum, it kind of helps you relax a little bit more.
So much info is thrown at us and so many trainings that we have to get done at a certain time, but it was really important to understand.
It's always a nice temperature check to interact with everybody who's really affected by this. I'm confident that the kinds of cases that are moving forward for decertification are the kinds of cases that generally our officers would agree represent, the kind of behavior that we don't think is acceptable. So I think what you can expect from us moving forward is better communication to you individually about those things that really impact you as certified peace officers in California.
Throughout this process of exploration and discovery, the impact of changes in certification and decertification created more than a procedural shift. I've witnessed the uncertainty and the concerns of our officers and their search for clarity. Post, for its part, has responded, answering questions and providing resources and support to help officers adapt to these changes. They put together an experienced team to fill this new role that's required of them. This journey is not just about the new law. It's about confirming our commitment to our communities and to each other. I'm left with the hope that California's peace officers see this as an opportunity to enhance trust and uphold the honor that we have come to expect within our profession. For additional information and resources related to certification and decertification, access the Post website at the link below.